Yo, what up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Caustic change that just came down in the Chaos Theory Collection event. Now I'm sure a lot of you guys know Caustic was significantly nerfed in this patch update. And so we're going to talk about, is Caustic still viable and so on. So his gas grenade got a cooldown from 2.5 minutes to 3.5 minutes. And his gas damage now just does a flat rate of 5 HP per tick instead of ramping up from 6 until 12. Now previously, if you got caught in Caustic gas, it progressively did more damage to you, right? So now it's just going to be a flat rate of 5, and that is a huge change. Now, in Season 7, when they changed Caustic's damage and then they removed the vision blur, I initially thought Caustic wasn't as good, and it wasn't really until I played him more and more and then shifted to World's Edge that realized Caustic was actually going to be very, very good because of the damage increase. It didn't really matter that opponents could see better in the Caustic gas. It really just mattered that if you caught an opponent in your Caustic gas, they were going to take a lot of damage. And obviously they still can't see that well. They're slowed a little bit. And, it's going to alter them in a 1v1 scenario. So getting the jump on them when they're in your gas is obviously crucial, or was crucial. So now going forward, we have a significant nerf to the ultimate where it's going to take longer to get that gas grenade. And now the gas is going to be less effective in terms of damage dealing. Now, what do I think about Caustic? A lot of people have asked me. They asked me in the stream I did earlier today. They've been commenting on my videos. And to be honest, he's obviously not as good, right? But he's still good. And if you are decent with Caustic, you're going to be fine. Is he going to be like the top tier legend to pick? No, and definitely not on Kings Canyon. And the reason for that is Kings Canyon is very wide open. They have bad parts of the map like this, where you're just kind of in an open field and the only cover you have is rocks and stuff. And you can kind of make a pseudo home with your traps, but it's not always very effective. So Caustic on World's Edge or even Olympus, because I think Olympus is better than Kings Canyon in terms of Caustic's playstyle and map overall. He will benefit more there. Will he be a necessity in ranked and competitive? No, probably not. But he's not completely useless either. Now, when Caustic had that change in Season 7, and then more people picked Caustic up when the split went back to World's Edge, I got very nervous because I thought when Caustic becomes meta, not only does the higher-ups in the community complain about Caustic, but then you're going to get a lot of the data that Apex likes to look at of people playing him and people succeeding with him, so then it's going to look like, oh, he's very good, and we're going to have to nerf him. So I knew this would happen, and I was hoping this would happen to Horizon as well, because I think Horizon is very similar Caustic in ways where she's extremely annoying and can certainly just kill you with abilities and her advantages of her utility. But they didn't decide to do that to Horizon, and don't comment telling me they gave a 1-minute cooldown on her ultimate, because that's certainly not the change she needed. She needed much more of a nerf, and hopefully we'll see that in Season 9. I don't really care if anyone disagrees with me on that or not. It's just factual. So as far as what I think you need to be doing with Caustic going forward is you can't rely on his gas as much to be the crutch in your fight. And if you were doing that to begin with, well then, you didn't really deserve those kills anyway, because Apex shouldn't be completely about abilities. It should only partially be about abilities. So the reason I still enjoy Caustic is because when I'm a lone wolf in, let's say, pubs, for instance, I'm still able to zone off entrances and exits with my Caustic gas, and I can generally use that to get an advantage on my opponent. Now, you definitely need gun skill in order to succeed like that, but it is going to take some time getting used to, because opponents aren't as afraid to get involved with the Caustic gas now. I mean, they're certainly not ambitious to do it, but they're not as afraid as they were previously, rightfully so. Damage can still stack up, and people say like, oh, you need to be in the Caustic gas for 20 seconds in order to die, but the reality is like nobody's that dumb to just sit in Caustic gas. So the real usage of the gas needs to come with shooting your opponent, getting them low, and hoping they wind up in your gas, whether it's from a trap you previously placed or you're throwing your ultimate on them or whatever. Because they're obviously going to be, messed up from the effects of the gas, not only the damage dealing aspects, but it will be tricky for people to just crutch Caustic now, in my opinion. Now, obviously, there are still bugs like you just saw there, my trap disappearing on the door. Caustic tends to have a few bugs every season that get often overlooked and get me killed a ton. So that's obviously very frustrating. But overall, I still think he's going to be a pretty strong legend. I do hope they decide to buff him in the future season, but not something so significant where they're going to have to nerf him again. I like when Caustic's good and takes some skill. Now, the Caustic haters out there don't think Caustic takes any skill, but it's really easy to kill a bad Caustic generally. Unless you're trapped in a building and Caustic is aggressive and pins you down there with his ultimate, you know, it's very easy to outplay a bad Caustic. A good Caustic, however, isn't going to do the same things that a bad Caustic is going to do, and they're going to use the gas in different ways, and they're going to be fairly aggressive with it. So one of the main tips and tricks that I talk about all the time is that you need to constantly be placing gas down and activating traps if you're in fights. And you need to be looking for things for cover, because as you'll see here, I'm playing this rock. I'm using traps on both sides in my ultimate to zone off this team so they can't thirst my teammate. And I'm eventually going to use my gas here to separate these opponents. And that is when, you know, you need your gun skill to kick in, because the gas isn't getting the kills here. It's just deterring them from pushing me together. I'm isolating my opponents. And that is why I enjoy Caustic so much, because as someone who solo queues like 90% of my games, you know, sometimes you don't get a fair 1v1. And with Caustic, it's pretty easy to force that 1v1 in a lot of scenarios. I'm going to let some of these clips play out so you guys can see how to continue to use Caustic successfully since this update. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. It was a quick video that I put together, but that's kind of the content I'm going to go for now. I used to be able to spend multiple days getting content and editing and creating thumbnails and stuff, but I can't keep doing that right now. I can't afford to keep doing that. So, you know, for the people who are here watching in this video, I just want to let you know that the content is still going to be top tier, but things are going to seem maybe not the same as they once were, because you guys know me. I don't just throw up a game that I had that was good and just do a quick voiceover most of the time. I'm cutting up multiple clips, and I'm cutting up a lot of games over a lot of hours, and that takes a lot of time to get that content and then let alone edit it. So I can't keep doing that for the amount of time it takes, for the amount of views I'm getting, just to make sense of my time and for financial reasons as well. So going forward, things may look a little different to some of you, but it's just kind of how it has to be for now. I hope you guys will still enjoy the content, and I hope you will continue to support me by watching the videos. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Peace.